do it. I'm here today to give you an update on CWS, a bit of crowns coming through. Now, as you can see, guys, we've obviously seen, this is quite a fairly new coin coming through here around May this year. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, it joined the crypto race in probably the worst time in history, right? We obviously saw massive, massive crashes down to the downside for cryptos and altcoins in general. Now you can obviously see this low point that did get created. Now from there, we've actually found a lovely level of support. If we lost this horizontal before at $4.86, we probably would have come down to test this zone, but we didn't. We actually set a higher low from this low point. So that is inclination to draw a very nice upwards sloping support line coming through from there. As you can see there, pretty good stuff indeed. Now, what I would say from that, once we got an upward sloping support line like so, I would either be banging in another downward sloping support line from here. As you can see, multiple resistance points along this zone here, and that basically is creating symmetrical triangle. That's one scenario. This is one measure move that we would have been looking for here in terms of progression to the upside there. Pretty good stuff indeed, bringing the price all the way up. We're actually seeing massive pumps to the upside from there, near enough actually hitting launch price at around $18.97, and we know what happened once we hit launch price. We actually banged it all the way up to $39 there. So yeah, if we can actually get over this volume weighted ATR band here on the daily, that's going to be very progressive at around $17.25. Now moving down a bit to these lower term timeframes here, what I would say is this we've got quite a nice uptrend coming through there. I would be inclined to be drawing a massive level of support line coming through here. And unfortunately, guys, we have actually lost that to the lower side. If we get rid of the moving averages for now, you can see that we have lost this to the lower side. So we could actually be thinking about taking a leg down here. When I say leg down, maybe even just to this higher low here as a level of support. That's definitely something to be looking out for there. But yeah, it doesn't look the best in the world because you do have obviously this uptrend, and you do have, I would say, parallel channels to the upside here. And when you see this sort of happening here, you can be drawing measure moves in terms of a breakout scenario to the lower side. You're on a retest, you could be breaking down here, and if this is going to break down, it's going to line up, the measure move is going to line up perfectly with this massive wick to the upside from this previous prior high there on the 4 hours. So yeah, definitely a point to be looking out for is $12.47 for a bounce point. Short position from this zone, could be looking at something along the lines of this. If you can get a congruent candle close, and you can basically be shorting it down. As you can see, guys, it's dumping as we're talking. It's going to be around 11% for the first take profit. Second take profit is going to be around, I would probably be adding more take profits because these percentages are really quite big. Basically planning for any sort of reversal there. Around 22% for measure move completion, around 17% for the second take profit coming through there. So yeah, interesting stuff coming through there for CWS. But what I would say is a little bit of a pullback is probably due here. And as you can see, this momentum that you are seeing to the upside, you are seeing these pullbacks they're getting ever so strong, and the momentum to the upside is actually getting a bit lower there. So if you were probably going to see something, it's probably going to be something along the lines of that in terms of the trend actually curling over here, and the trend actually curling over, that's the wrong tool, the trend actually curling over here, if that is going to happen there. So yeah, a couple of things to be looking out for there for CWS. Let me bring up some moving averages and jump down to the hourly time frame, see if we can get a bit more of a congruency sort of position coming through there. Let me have a little look. As you can see here, this is obviously the high point to be looking out for. Massive trend line in terms of resistance point to be looking out for. So if you do actually bang it above this trend line inside of that rising parallel channel that we were just talking about, if you do reclaim it in terms of a level of support, I would be looking for around $18 at the volume weighted ATR band. That's definitely a point of resistance. And also, if you do get there, you've got another trend line coming through at this top side, downward sloping resistance line. Very crucial stuff. But at the end of the day, past all that, you're going to be forming another parallel channel coming through. Let me get rid of this. You're going to be forming another parallel channel coming through here, or a rising wedge pattern. I think it might be rising wedge pattern, guys, and rising wedge patterns, guys, they usually tend to break to the downside. So that's another congruency moment that we could potentially break to the downside from there, and basically see the completion of this measure move coming through that we have seen from that parallel channel. But yeah, definitely something to be thinking about. But that is going to be your update today here on Crowns CWS.